December 6th, Advent. One of the most famous scenes in the Bible is the announcement of the shepherd by the angels that the Savior is born. And then it says, suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of heavenly hosts, praising God and saying, glory to the God in the highest, and on earth peace among those with whom is pleased. Luke 2:11-14. Glory to the God, peace of man. The angels are sent to make something crystal clear. The Son of God has come into creation to display the glory of God and to reconcile from people's alienation to the peace with God, to make God look great in salvation and to make man glad in God. So we come to John 12. There is no surprise when we hear Jesus pray that this would actually happen at the most important point of his earthly life, namely his death and resurrection, that God would in fact be glorified in the rescue of sinners. Look at John 12:21-30. Now is my soul troubled, and what shall I say, Father? Save me from this hour. We know this means the hour of his death, because in verse 24 he said, unless a grain of wheat falls into the earth and dies, it remains alone. But if it dies, it bears much fruit. But for this purpose I have come to this hour. Father, glorify your name. Then a voice came from heaven. I have glorified it. I will glorify it again. The crowd that stood there and heard it said that it had thundered. Others said, an angel has spoken to him. Jesus answered, the voice has come for your sake, not mine. In verse 27, Jesus says, for this purpose, I have come to this hour. What purpose? The answer is in verse 28. Father, glorify your name. This is why my death approaches. The Father hears Jesus' prayer and answers, I have glorified it, and I will glorify it again. He had just glorified his name through Jesus and in the resurrection of Lazarus, John 11:4-40. And now he will glorify it in death and resurrection of Jesus. Don't miss the emphasis on God's commitment to glorify God. Not only does Jesus pray for God to glorify God, Father, glorify your name, in verse 28. But God himself says, I have glorified my name, and I will glorify it again. God sent angels to say it in Luke 2, and God himself said in John 28, I have glorified my name, and I will glorify it again. The deepest reason we live for the glory of God is that God acts for the glory of God. We are passionate about God's glory because God is passionate about God's glory. And what makes this such good news, especially in the Gospel of John, is that the glory of God is full of grace and truth. And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. We have seen his glory. Glory is as of the only Son from the Father, full of grace and truth. John 1:14. The most glorious thing about God is that he is so completely, fully self-sufficient, and that the glory of his fullness and his being overflows in truth and grace for his creatures. He doesn't need us, and therefore in his fulfilled fullness, he overflows his love for us. Such is the grace we receive at Christmas. And now you know why Christ is in Christmas. It's not about those things that you bought. It's about that gift that God is trying to give to you. Open your heart and receive that gift. Find a way to get to him. He's waiting for you. He keeps trying to get into your heart. So when you are out there doing the things you know you shouldn't be doing, when you're listening to people that you shouldn't listen to, he's waiting on you. Remember, Jesus said, I go before you to prepare your kingdom, to prepare your home. He's waiting on you. Your place is already safe. It's waiting. The question is, what are you going to do? So thank you. This is December 6th Advent. Remember, I love you.